My boyfriend cheated on me. How do I go forward from here? My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years now. We've had a good relationship, never really fight about anything. I never once imagined we would ever be where we are right now. I found out because he told me. He told me a month after it happened. I never suspected a thing. He's been going through a tough time. He lost his mom and his childhood best friend in a span of 4 months. I've been there for him throughout the entire time. Anything he wanted, I did it for him. One of his female friends from childhood messaged him after hearing the news to check up on him. They hadn't talked to each other in years but never really lost their friendship connection. They started talking more and more. Eventually they met up and it ended with them having sex. When he told me this, I was just shocked at first. I asked him why he felt the need to go somewhere else for his pleasure. He actually had an explanation for it and I don't completely disagree with it. He told me that he pretty much didn't want to have sex with the girl he really cared about as it would feel like I'm just doing it to make him feel better. Those aren't his exact words but that was basically the reason. I don't know if I want to break up with him at this point. I understand what the hurt did to him and why he felt like he need to do it. How should I handle this situation? Now to the comment section. When my brother passed away I went through a lot. But none of them lead me to having an affair with someone else. Grief is not an excuse to get pity sex from an old interest. Because that's what it was. My life is so hard and I'm going through a lot. Pity sex. Grief can make us deal with some real emotions, but that never gives anyone an excuse to go out having an affair. Exactly, sounds like he grief to his advantage and up falling for it. End the relationship and walk away. There no excuse to cheat at all. He just wanted to fuck her and thought, oh, I'll tell her some BS about my grief. So he kinda blames his grief of why he fell dick first. Insist another woman? Excuse me rudeness, but why are you putting yourself so low? You can do so much better. Dump this loser. He had you to support him during the time he lost his mother, but he chooses to cheat. Now that he has lost your trust, it's barely impossible to get it back. You will never fully trust him again and no relationship works like that. Dump him, raise your standards and block his number, as I won't be surprised if he says cruel, hurtful, or scary stuff to you to try and make you feel sorry for him or to get you back. Dump the loser. Girl, you're being manipulated. If he were truly devoted to you and this relationship, the feeling of cheating on his girlfriend would feel a lot worse than having pity sex with your partner of 2 years. He's using those deaths as an excuse for his behavior, because at the end of the day, regardless of how far you push it away, will you ever trust him with this friend? Or other female friends? Other old classmates? Will he continue being friends with her? Etc. I knew someone in high school who did something similar to get dates with girls and would use his mother's death and would say the same things when he'd get caught. That's high school behavior, and the only mature thing he did was tell you, but then he immediately manipulated you into thinking he'd rather have sex with someone who wasn't his monogamous partner as a kind gesture to you, not his own selfishness. I feel like the entire reason why people commit to each other in a serious relationship is because of the shared recognition that life is very painful, and it becomes much easier to weather through great burdens with a partner. If he can't turn to you when life becomes painful, what is the point of the relationship? Just the small things. Just the meaningless things. To be fair, I haven't experienced pain like your boyfriend, so I don't know what it's like being in such a dark and desperate place. Next story 2. My 25F fiancé, 26M, didn't visit me during my first major surgery. TLDR, he chose an office party rather than visiting me the day of my first surgery. I initially posted this in another sub-event but realized I would appreciate feedback on how to approach / if I'm wrong. Sorry for formatting plus grammar, I'm using my phone. Dazed on award. 25F, partner, 26M, and I are engaged and have been together nearly 5 years. I went to an ER due to severe abdominal pain / vomiting / dehydration / dizziness Friday night. After rehydrating plus stabilizing me, I was let go since it was initially suspected to be a chronic issue I've suffered from with my upper belly. Wrong. Felt sick again, so decided to go to my mum's who lives across London. 5 AM Sunday. Partner was sweet initially, even getting his friend who was staying around and had a car to drive us across the city. They just got back from a party. But I digress. By the time I had gotten to my mum's house, my condition had deteriorated, and about 20 minutes later I went to the ER by ambulance. That's the last time I saw my fiancée, early Sunday morning. Since then my little brother has been a star sibling and really making sure I got the correct treatment. I understand him not being with me Sunday since his friend had traveled from another city to see him and it's been so long. Monday/Tuesday he was working from home and we have a cat, so I understood, and it's about 1 hour 30 minutes train journey from our house. But at least he called me Monday and checked and stuff. Wednesday/Friday he's working from his office, which is a tiny bit closer, approximate 35 minutes. He still didn't visit and I accepted he was tired. We even fought that I was texting and calling him more, and everything he knew was updated without him actually asking. My mum was a bit upset as well, as he was not calling my mum or family for updates/insights when my brother was with me at the ER and I couldn't move/talk. He leaves work early so he can call me and let the cat outside. The cat does like outdoors, but he also had everything he needed at home, plus the hospital was only 37 minutes from his job according to maps. It's only an 1.30 minutes to our place from the hospital, so if he stayed with me for just 1 hour, he would have been home from work the usual time just by skipping lunch. BTW, this whole time I'm mainly texting. He knew I was going under the knife before he left for work today. I woke him with a good morning message at 6:50 AM knowing he wakes at 7:30 and must leave at 8:15. I also followed with something I lovingly remembered to heads up him about near 9 and no reply. That's how texting was most of the day, one-sided, even when he knew I was going into surgery. I know a laparoscopy isn't a big surgery at all, but it's the only one I had. For other context, I've been suffering with this abdominal pain, different organs, on and off for months, and it's impeded my work, so this is such a big deal for me. For everyone to be honest, even my typically absent family members showed up. At one point I texted I was hurt and started jokingly having a one-sided conversation between myself on WhatsApp to make a point. He replied and said I was super funny. But I communicate my feelings as and when I'm hurt, but this time I was in so much guilt even has to be with me. I know it's not easy to be with health and personal issues which were completely out of my control, but still shame-inducing. He's extremely been supportive of that and wishes I can get better and back on track to where I wanna be. Plus early on in the week when I brought up how the fact that I was trying way harder to communicate in this time made me feel, it also caused a massive fight, where I ended up being the only one apologizing. So at 8:47 am I tell him I will have surgery in an hour. He doesn't message/call in that hour, but luckily it's delayed until noon. He doesn't call in that time at all actually, just replies to some memes I sent and silences. Again I feel like I'm carrying the conversation. I say I'm going into theaters just before I'm rolled away and told to leave my phone. Come back to it. Is it too late to call? Text 40 minutes after I'm taken. Reply non-LOL, I just got out. I finally try to call him when I can talk with no reply for 2 hours. Now here's where I'm super hurt, and maybe it's weird this is the particular thing? I don't know. 'Cause there is so much stuff that could take the cake I left out. But after not hearing his voice once, the day of my surgery, still carrying the conversation and being the one to send the good morning texts, he finally calls just before 7 p.m. I hear cheers and people laughing and remember today was an office drinks day ritual thingy they do. He sounded also just the genuine happiest since everything, the "how are you doing my love" was so upbeat. I was both relieved he sounded better and shattered. He normally doesn't call me babe or stuff when he's in the office anymore, but I think the noise gave it an exemption. So now I'm just wondering, am I too much? Should I be grateful for what I get since I'm so difficult compared to girls my age due to health? I'm being paranoid and insecure. I feel worthless, sad. But above all angry. I feel anger more than physical pain and I can't stand post-op. Sorry for Macy, my brain is still spinning from meds and I kind of processed as I wrote, so it may sound sporadic. Now to the comment section. My boyfriend got into a car accident a couple weeks ago and broke a bone bad enough to need surgery, and I'm currently unemployed, so it might have been different if I wasn't, but I've been to every single doctor's appointment and have waited hours in the hospital in the waiting room just so I would be there if he needed me or if anything happened. I'd be so hurt if I was in your position. The person you're in a relationship should do things like that, no questions asked. 35 minutes isn't that far and he should at least be able to call you. Oh I'm angry for you after reading that. I can't even imagine how you'd be feeling. My God. I went to your profile to see if you posted about what ended up being the problem, since it sounded a lot like endo maybe. And firstly, your cats are amazing, that one lil guy looks enormous lol, but secondly it seems like you have some chronic health/pain conditions and some mental health challenges, is that right? There's a cliche that when men get sick, their women care for them, and when women get sick, their men leave. It's real enough and bad enough that I know cancer clinics near me actually warn women to prepare for the fact that their husbands might dip out soon. And I know it's hashtag not all men, but really, this fucking guy of yours, he seems like the type. I do not think your fiancé is capable of caring for someone who is sick. It's possible that could change as he matures, but I wouldn't count on it. You're likely to need support again in the future, and he's just shown that he's either unwilling or unable to be the partner you need. I've been told it's possible to be a good person and also be unable to care for others like that, but I struggle to reconcile that. For me, when I love someone, I love taking care of them, and I can't imagine doing what your fiancé did. I would have taken days off work to come be with my partner, to read to them or watch crappy daytime TV with them or talk about nonsense, whatever helped distract from the shit they're going through. I'm sorry you didn't have that support from the person you should be able to count on. Whatever his reasons are for doing what he did, and regardless of the person and partner he is for you when you're doing well. I don't know. I'd be putting serious thought into whether there's a future with this guy. I'm sorry I'm glad your family is there for you. Your brother sounds great, I wonder what he thinks of your fiancé RNLOL. You're not too much and there's nothing for you to be grateful about or apologize for your health problems. Your fiancé should be ashamed of himself for how he neglected you at your time of need, and it's unforgivable. When my husband and I were dating for 4 months, he came and sat with me in A&E for several hours after I hurt my eye, even after I insisted I was fine and didn't need him there. If they want to, they will. Your fiancé barely called you met alone visit. These are all shocking red flags and I'm so sorry you're going through this. Big life moments like these are eye-opening because it shows you where you stand in his life and his ability to be a partner and prioritize. He showed his true colors and where he puts you in his life. I'm so sorry.